Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the VST Dealers Tractors Limited Q1 FY22 earnings conference call, hosted by Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Hitesh Bhargava from Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Faizan. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to VST Dealers Tractors 1Q FY22 post-results conference call. From VST Dealers Management, we have with us today Mr. V.T. Ravindra, Managing Director, Mr. Anthony Cherukura, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Pankaj Khemka, Chief Financial Officer. I will now hand over the call to VST Dealers Management for their opening remarks, to be followed by Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being with us here today. Happy to take you through the earnings call and give you a brief before we get into the question and answer session. In quarter one, we had a revenue of 193.60 crores, which is a growth of 32.39% over previous year. The operational EBITDA was at 25.39 crores, which is 13.11%, and EBITDA including the other income was 18.11%. The PBT is at 31.20 crores, which is 16.12%, and profit after tax is at 24.01 crore, which is a growth of 40.7% of the previous year. In quarter one, we did a power tiller volume of 6,729 tillers against the previous year quarter one volume of 5,186 tillers, and the revenue in the power tiller business was 94.47 crores against the previous year revenue of 72.41 crores, which is a growth of 30%. In the tractor business, we did a volume of 2,048 tractors against previous year volume of 1,766, and revenue was 69.41 crores against previous year revenue of 52.86 crores, which is a growth of 31%. And the parts business was at 28.39 crores against previous year of 19.77 crores, which is a growth of about 44%. This is the initial brief on the performance, and now we could move on to the question answer session. And with me also is Mr. V.T. Ravindra, who is the Managing Director of the company, and Pankaj Khemka, who is the Chief Financial Officer of the company. Thank you. Over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Ram S. from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Sir, firstly, I wanted to have your outlook on the power tiller and tractor volume growth for FY21. And also, I wanted to know how are the B2B supplies of power tillers, how's that segment of the business progressing?
Good afternoon, and I thought that you had asked for outlook for FY22, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So the FY22 outlook, we are looking at it positively, and currently, as I said, we have a growth of about 30%. And we expect, to be in that range of growth this year, considering that we have launched new products in this segment. Also, our coverage is growing up. our number of dealership appointments has increased. And the tractor business, of course, is very highly competitive. We have seen a growth of about 30% in the first quarter. However, I am looking at a growth of about 10 to 15% in the tractor segment, considering again the new product launches and the coverage increase that we are doing. And the second part of the question, I think you are asking on. I missed that second part of your question. Can you come again on that, please?
The contract manufacturing of power tillers.
Yeah, the contract manufacturing, yes. So that is, as I said last time, we are engaged with two importers who were importing earlier, and now that is going steadily. The volume in first quarter, both put together, was about 500 to 600 numbers. So that is only likely to increase as we move forward. We are also looking at one more possible OEM, and that should be concluded in this quarter.
Excellent. Sir, my second question is on power weeders. Now we have a tie-up with Hubert. In conjunction with Hubert, we plan to introduce power weeders in India. Any update on that tie-up and where we are at this point in time?
Yeah, the tie-up continues, and the sales volume and the coverage on that is increasing. The growth is good in that segment as well. Last year, as you know, we did about 1700 to 1800 volume. We expect to, as I've said in my earlier calls, we should be able to do upwards of 5,000 power weeders this year. However, the work with Hubert has to go a long way because travel not happening to France or for them to visit us in India, that has been an obstacle to take the alliance or collaboration to the next step. So that that's still awaited.
Right. Perfect. And so my last question is something that I observed in the annual report. So if I look at the breakdown of other income, there is a line item called write back of credit balances, and this line item was about 10 crores in FY21, about 14 crores in FY20. So could you tell us a little more about what exactly is being written back? What are these balances pertaining to?
Yeah, I will request CFO to get into the details of this one and give you the answer on that.
Yeah, hi. See, in quarter one, we have written back approx 2.9 crores of write back. These are pertaining, basically, these are all 3 years old, some provisions which were carried in books. We reviewed them and we found that it is no longer required, so we have written it back in the first quarter.
Okay, so would you be able to give an estimate of how much would this write back figure be for FY22?
More or less it is done. We don't see any significant jump in write back values for the remaining 3 quarters.
All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Jiten Shah, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. This is Dipen here. I had a couple of questions. Firstly, as far as your outlook is concerned, you said about 30% growth in the tiller segment. Now, how do you see the situation on ground right now? Has the monsoon kind of increased the demand? And there are also talks about the rural income increasing over the last couple of months. So if you could just give us some more insights into how the ground situation is for tillers as well as on the tractor fronts, that will be great.
Yeah, the monsoon spread has been quite okay this year. We were all expecting that, although the last few weeks has been a little patchy, but we expect that the monsoon to be normal this year. That is number one. And the area of sowing also is almost equivalent to last year already. So I don't see any issue in terms of the sown area of crops or the monsoon. Now, as far as rural sentiments are concerned, all of us know that the wave 2 hit rural compared to wave 1 badly, and hence it had an effect of consumption going down during that period of April-May. But I would say the consumption is almost back, and in fact the latest reports I've been seeing is that the rural consumption is in fact better than the urban consumption. And we kind of see the same sentiments on the power tiller as well as the tractor sales figures. However, there is a challenge that all of the industry is facing, which is the commodity inflation and hence the increased price that is passed on to the consumer, which could become a dampener going forward. Otherwise, the sentiments look positive.
Okay. So that brings me to the next question, sir. How's the raw material situation right now, and how do you see the margins panning out? And also, yesterday on the media, there was a comment that you could be reaching a turnover of about 1,000 crores in the current year. So if you could just validate that, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, we have mentioned even in the annual report, we have a vision of achieving 3,000 crores by 2025, and we aspire to the second milestone will be this year. And as per that aspiration, we should be crossing 1,000 crores this year. As of now, we are on path to get that done. However, there is always this COVID wave 3 that is there in the air, which is an unpredictable situation for any one of us. So that is the only risk that we see going forward for this year. And the commodity inflation in the last 3 to 4 weeks, it stabilized a bit, but it's again an unpredictable situation there which is more influenced by international price movements. So it is again totally unpredictable at the moment.
Okay. But as of now, we hope that to achieve to maintain the margins at the last year levels or maybe improve them.
We are striving to improve the margins, of course, and for that, like I have said before also in various calls, we have done a lot of, apart from the addressing commodity inflation through price increases, that is just one method, but we have been working in terms of increasing efficiency, cost reduction. That has also played a role in terms of our operational EBITDA being maintained at where it was, if you look at it, and in fact bettered it in Q1.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I will come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vimal from Union AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir. Sir, appreciate your vision to sort of reach 3,000 crores by FY25. So if I were to look at this company's history and if I were to look at the segment that it is operating in, the power tiller segment, the segment has historically faced, faced the ill effects of the inefficiencies within the government, because it's a subsidy sort of driven product. And how do you see this changing? I mean, we have had issues with this for a very long period of time. And what suddenly changes for us in the next 5 years that we are sort of keeping such a vision? If you could just take us through what steps is the company taking and what is the roadmap for reaching this 3,000 crore of top line in FY25. The second part to that question itself will be what happens to profitability. I hope you are keeping an eye on the kind of operating leverage that this turnover can generate. So are we looking at meaningful margin expansion along with this as well? Thanks a lot.
Okay. So first part of the question is on the subsidy. See, like as earlier earning calls also I mentioned that there is a trend change in terms of how subsidy is viewed by the consumer. The big trend shift that has happened is the consumer doesn't base his purchase decision currently on the subsidy. Earlier years, what used to happen is only when the subsidy is declared, people would come forward and purchase the power tiller. Now what we see is the farmer goes ahead with purchase of the power tiller and he waits for a subsidy if at all it comes. So probably the reason for that, and what we have analyzed and understood, is over the years the farmers have not got the subsidy on time. So they realized over 3 to 4 years that there is no point in waiting. So one big shift that I am seeing is the purchase decision itself as the trend has changed. Point number one. Now coming to our power tiller business growing, yes, we are leaders in this industry with over 53-54% market share in quarter one. So we realize that we have to grow the industry, and the potential is there because a small and marginal farmer really needs this machine, because this is the only affordable product for mechanization for him. Otherwise, a tractor comes at 5 lakhs upwards. So this is the larger segment in India in farming is the small and marginal farmer. So there is huge potential, and in this regard, we have started launching newer products now. We are launching we are already launched 16 HP power tiller. We are also launching a 9 HP very innovative product into the market this year. So that is these launches plus our increased coverage of dealerships. Earlier we used to operate with about 200 active dealers. Today, as of end of quarter one, we have about 450 dealers in power tillers, and they continue to increase the coverage in the market. So all these put together, we believe that the power tiller and the small farm mechanization business can grow. That is point number one. Point number two, VST is no more a power tiller company alone. We have a large play in the tractor business. We are the 7th or 8th player in the industry with large focus on the compact tractor segment, which is the industry size of last year of about 90,000, where we have about 10% market share. We are trying to increase the market share there and increase coverage by launching of newer products in that segment. Apart from that, from last year, we have also entered into higher horsepower space, which is the large industry, which is almost 800,000 size. That segment of the business is also growing. And like last earnings call I mentioned, we have taken also other initiatives of getting into precision implements business. That business is also growing. So put together, all these strategies put together is what we want to scale up and get to 3,000 crores.
So, sir, precision implements, could you highlight more? What exactly these machines are? What do they do?
Yeah. So we have started with rotavators, and this manufacturing and assembling has started in Mysore. We are also in talks with couple of foreign companies where we want to collaborate with them for further technology in the rotary application space. Secondly, we have also got into sprayers, and because that sprayer segment is something natural for us, because most of the compact tractors that we sell go into inter-row cultivation like vineyards and other row crops in orchards and all that application. So that segment which we were already operating in, we are getting in with sprayers there. And secondly, we are also looking at technology in spraying by talking to people who can help us get into electrostatic sprayers and things like that. That also work has started, and business is progressing. And I think one more part of the question you had spoken about is the profitability. Yes, we have a high eye on profitability. However, as I said earlier also, we are gunning for growth. The profitability will be maintained at 12 to 14%, which I have mentioned before.
Sir, I appreciate your intent to maintain profitability, but looking at the long-term trend, I mean, 3,000 crores of top line, my assumption is that your certain fixed costs won't grow at the same pace. So, assuming that, operating leverage will kick in, your margin should essentially expand. And if at all you don't see them expanding, some portion of your variable costs are sort of going up. So, which line items are sort of moving here, sir?
That's why I said there is a band for the margin from 12 to 14%. We will be more tending towards the higher part of that slab and slightly probably above it also when the operating leverage is very good. But however, in the initial phase of growth, we all know that, the OPEX requirement is also pretty high, because you have to scale up your presence in the market, you have to scale up your spend on the brand, you have to scale up your advertising spends. So these things will definitely be an expenditure which we will have to do going forward, and hence this band of margin that I am talking about.
Right. And sir, the largest tractor player in India is also going very aggressive on farm mechanization as a business opportunity. How are you fending off that competition, sir?
We are not, obviously, being the largest player and much bigger than us, we are not in direct competition. But what we have really looked at is, can we look at technology? That is why we are getting into precision implements. So that is why I want to bring in technology in the rotary space, not just get into broad-based implements, which will go with the tractor. So we are looking at very niche segments in the rotary space where there will be decent volume and very good margins. Similarly, in the sprayer space, where actually we are leaders in the compact four-wheel drive segment, where maximum of this spraying application happens, and that eventually, since the prime mover is ours, the tractor is ours, we should be able to easily capture the sprayer segment as well. And there is also a lot of technology that can be brought into that space. However, that is work in progress for us.
Right. So last question. Most of the products that you have highlighted, most of these products are sort of localized, right? Is there any product that you are sort of importing right now currently and probably looking to localize it once you achieve scale, or how is it?
That's what I said. Definitely we are looking at technologies that can be brought in. We are in talks with a Japanese company. We are in talks with a European company. So both these technologies, we are doing a lot of trials at this point. And, I can't say anything at this point because the route that will be taken is under discussion even now. So once that is finalized, I will come out and tell all of you what we are doing.
Right. And this 12 to 14% margin band is after considering, the technology is bought here and you manufacture it here, right?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you so much, sir, and all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Devanshu from Yes Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Good afternoon. So I had a few questions. One is to do with the exports, right? So am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So we did about 450 tractor volume exports in FY20. I think it was 680 odd in FY21, if I'm not mistaken. And we've already crossed about 400 in the first 4 months of this year. So can you give a sense on what is the outlook? And if you can explain how we are expanding and whether this is all through Zetor?
No, none of this is through Zetor. However, the Zetor, alliance is helping us to expand in Eastern Europe through references, using their warehouses for keeping couple of tractors of ours where the prospective dealers can visit and take a look at the tractor. So this kind of work is happening with Zetor, but it is not being sold through the network of Zetor.
Okay.
Now the reason for growth is purely our distribution expansion in Europe and in Africa. So we have expanded into Eastern Europe as was the plan stated to all of you earlier. And also we have expanded our network in Africa compared to earlier. So you're right, we are seeing good growth in exports, and I think that will continue this year.
So are we looking at about 1,000 plus 1,500 volumes this year?
Yes, that is what we are looking at.
Okay. So then coming to another broad question, if the MD or you can choose to answer this. So VST Tillers is clearly trying to move to the next level, right, in terms of efficiency, products, and scale. So when you look at some of the good companies in other sectors who are pretty much attempting to do the same, they've built a strong CXO team around the senior management, and they've also been incentivized through ESOPs. So I just wanted to get a sense, how are we building a team around the MD and the CEO, and do we plan to issue ESOPs, linked to the financial progress of the company?
Yeah, I'll request MD to take this question. Thank you.
Yes, on the management bandwidth, we are building a lot of strengths there. So you would have seen the change happening over the last 2 years itself. We are professionalizing the whole management team, and we are looking at building the strength there to take it to the next level. So ESOPs, that's something that the board will have to take a decision. Yeah, we have some thoughts on that, but nothing finalized on ESOPs as of now.
Okay, sure. Thanks. And sir, in your 3,000 crore vision, do inorganic opportunities fit in anywhere? And if so, in which segment are we looking at?
Yeah, we are looking at inorganic opportunities, preferably, something that is in the agriculture and similar sectors, so that it's easier for us to handle.
Can we expect an announcement anytime soon in this year?
Yeah, I will elaborate a little bit on that. See, we are looking at the farmer rural market canvas and evaluating opportunities. But it's too early to announce anything at this point, but definitely it is again something we are working on.
Okay, sure. And then last question. Your employee costs have risen on a QOQ basis, even if I knock off the VRS that we paid in the previous quarter. So is there any more component of that, or can we expect the run rate to be what it is right now? And maybe if you can just explain as to the reason for the jump.
See, the employee cost as a percentage has definitely come down. If you compare year on year compared to previous quarter one, and compared to even quarter four, it's slightly down. If you leave one-time expenses, which is given in the note for quarter one, which is a leave encashment of the VRS employees, which is given in the note. So it is about 8.83% actually. After reducing that leave salary one-time expense for the VRS settled employees. Okay. So it has actually gone down, and I don't think that going up.
So this 18 crore figure could be a run rate for the next few quarters, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Smitesh Sheth from Radian Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Yesterday in the media interview, there was some mention about the real estate parcel. So could you give some detail about what is the size of it and what are the eventual plans for it also, maybe in next 1 year, 2 years, and how do you plan to monetize it, sir?
Yeah, so this is a land parcel which was having the manufacturing facility for us. Now that is shifted to Hosur. Right now we have our corporate office in this place, and we don't intend to do anything at this point in time because this is not the right time for real estate. And definitely not in the next 1 or 2 years, probably beyond that. I think that will be the best time to realize the full value of this at a later stage.
So what's the size of it in terms of the area or something?
I don't have an exact figure, but it's around 20 acres.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kaushal Shah from Danki Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, if you can share the higher HP tractor numbers for the quarter.
Yeah, we have done about 170 tractors of higher HP.
Okay. And so, if I recollect your guidance, we were planning to do around 1,000 numbers for the current year.
Yeah.
So in the higher HP category. So I think that should be doable, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next question was on the tiller volumes. Obviously, we've done great performance over there. Even on tiller side, the contract manufacturing part, where we have done roughly around 600 numbers. So there also, I think we are guided for something like 3,000 number volume for the current year. Now, considering that we've done 600, do you think that can also be is an achievable number?
More or less, we will be there.
Okay. And so your volume number for the current year, which you mentioned earlier, which is 30% growth, that includes this number also, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Sure. That helps, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anand S. from B&K Research. Please go ahead.
Hi, so thanks for taking my question. I just wanted to ask some bookkeeping questions. What was the tiller and tractor revenues for the quarter?
Tiller revenue was 94.47 crores. Tractor revenue was 69.41 crores.
And what was the export volume, sir?
Export volume was 264 tractors for Q1.
Okay, and in the tiller space, what's our market share, sir, for the quarter? Any changes we could see, an improvement?
In quarter one, we were at 54%.
Okay. Sir, and what's the capex plan for the next 2 years? Any major changes that we have?
We have no major changes, but we have a capex of plan for this year of about 60 crores.
Okay. So any feedback on the precision implements that we have launched?
Good feedback all around, and we are looking to launch more new products in the coming months.
Okay, sir. That was broadly my questions. I'll fall back in the queue. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Doshi from Green Lantern Capital. Please go ahead.
So thank you for taking my question. My question is pertaining to export market. So in this category of tractors or the size in which we are, who would be the competitors, especially on the developed market like Europe? And what is the size of that market?
Yeah, the segment that we are in, the industry size in Europe is about 30,000.
Okay.
But the number of players are huge. I mean, starting from the European-based players based in Italy like Goldoni and several other players, and there is some Japanese players like Kubota, Iseki, and there are Korean players like TYM or Kugje. Then there are Chinese players. So and then there are Indian players like Sonalika, Escorts.
Okay.
I mean, that's a very large amount of competition that is there in the segment. But I'm happy to say that we have been able to do well, especially in France. We have over 10% market share in the segment now, and that is good. And we have one of the largest networks in France with over 80 outlets with our distributor. And that same work that we have done in France, now we have started doing in Germany, in Belgium, in Netherlands, in Spain, Portugal. And as I said earlier, we have also started getting into the East European market. Our first dealers in Croatia, Slovenia has come up already. We are also appointed a dealer in Romania, Bulgaria. So that growth is happening.
So, sir, what has changed for the farmers or the consumers to accept the Indian-made product in these kind of categories? Because historically, we all know that Europeans have been they have been a developed world and typically would have preferred the European manufacturer or a Japanese. So, what is your experience and what's the learning you are seeing that they're accepting Indian-made products? Is it the price differential or something else which is adding to that?
See, there are in this particular segment, there are different kinds of applications. Okay, there is one very specific area of application where they need our kind of tractors. And see, secondly, I want to make an important point here. The point is our quality is no less than the Japanese or the European tractors. What is different is the technology on offer. For example, a European or a Japanese tractor might offer a particular kind of transmission which may not be in our portfolio right now.
Okay.
Or it could give electronics, which is not in our portfolio right now. But quality-wise, we are not any lower than any of these Indian products are equally good, and that not goes only for us, but I would say for all Indian manufacturers. Second point to be understood is the duty cycle in Europe is very low. For an Indian farm, for example, the farmer uses a tractor upwards of 600-700 hours every year. But the European farmer uses only about 150 hours to 200 hours. So the usage is very less. Third is they want what I have met many customers, spoken to them, visited their farms. They are looking for less complicated products. So I see a lot of traction for less complicated products, especially with the population aging in Europe. I am seeing a large shift to less complicated products, and that is a trend I am seeing in Europe, especially in our segment. I can't comment on the higher horsepower segment because the scale and the operations are very different. But in our segment, this is what I am seeing.
So the size, the market size, what you mentioned, 30K, is for our kind of segment, right?
Correct. Up to 30 HP compact tractors.
Right. And in the vision statement of yours, 3,000 crore kind of a market, revenue. What kind of you have factored in coming from exports? Like, are you seeing very optimistic and seeing a very big change can happen after 2-3 years, some kind of inflection point?
At least 10% of the revenue should be from international business. That's what we are looking at.
And largely from Europe, right?
Largely Europe and Africa.
Yeah, okay. So thanks for taking my question. I'll come back in the queue again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Nishit Shah from Equitas Cap Investments. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I wanted to understand how are our recent launches doing, and are we planning any new launches in near term?
Yeah, we have had recently, in the last 6 months, we have launched about 3 to 4 products. One is our high torque 27 HP tractor. It has done very well in Maharashtra, Gujarat markets. Then we have launched a 17 HP single cylinder tractor. This is especially for the Gujarat market. We are in the process of ramping that up now. Thirdly, we have launched a 16 HP power tiller, which again we are ramping up now. It has got very good response, and the demand for power tillers are going up in that segment, which is a seat-fitted power tiller. It's got tremendous response. Then we have launched a 30 HP. In fact, the 30 HP tractor is the most technologically featured tractor in that segment in Indian market today, with all sorts of features like a fully synchronous gearbox, mid PTO, which is not available in any tractor. In fact, mid PTO, a reverse PTO offering, which again in this segment is the first time. So tremendous amount of technology packed into that 30 HP product, and it has got tremendous response in all the markets. And now we are ramping it up. In fact, the response is very good and very positive.
Okay. And sir, does this include that subsidy neutral tillers which you were earlier targeting?
In fact, to tell you that subsidy neutral, we have not ramped up, simply because the need has not arisen. Because we are now actually, having challenge with supply chain disruptions in the Q1, as you know. We're just about coming out of it, and we see healthy volumes without having to get into, the subsidy neutral product. And we are ramping up our manufacturing and our volumes. We have started running our power tiller plant at about close to 97-98% of installed capacity. So we are just about at the 100% capacity level. Now we are actually increasing our capacity to manufacture tillers. That is the work that is going on.
Okay. And so my second question is, what is the kind of dealer addition we saw in Q1, and what would be the kind of inventory at dealer level?
Dealer addition at power tiller segment is about 40 to 50 dealers. I'll get you the exact number. And that tractor dealer addition is about 20 numbers. In fact, the inventory of dealers has come down. All India inventory among 400 dealers of tillers is only about 2,100 to 2,200. So average of about only 4 or 5 tillers at each dealership. And in tractors also the inventory has considerably come down at about 350 odd dealerships. We have only an inventory of about 1,800 to 2,000 tractors. So as I said before, VST is not in the inventory or the billing business. We are in the consumption business, and that is what we are focused on.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Karthikeyan from Suyash Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity. A couple of questions. One is, what is the pricing regulation regarding power tillers? Are you actually able to price the products freely, or do you depend on state government dispensation on that? And how exactly to think about that going forward?
See, there is no pricing regulation as such. What happens is when the subsidy tender is floated, there is a quote that every company gives and based on which the pricing is decided. Now, I mean, that is the only limitation. Otherwise, if you don't want subsidy, you can sell it the price you decide to sell it at. So there is no regulation per se. Number one. Number two, the good thing is this year the government has actually come forward because of the commodity inflation. We asked the governments, state governments to relook at the prices that were sanctioned earlier based on the earlier tenders, which is almost a year back. And now almost all the governments have revised the prices based on the commodity inflation.
Super. The second question is with regard to your vision, guidance, whatever you want to call it. So you answered to an earlier question that you are looking at least 10% contribution from exports. That seems rather a low target, given that you will have both products of your own selling abroad as well as Getta's products selling abroad. So I'm just trying to understand why are you being conservative on that number? And part B of that question is there sufficient potential for you to grow so large in India in the span of just 4 years? Thank you.
Yeah, so for the first year milestone, we have already achieved at about 42% growth, which was the last financial year. And I mean, we are on track this year as of now. Only challenge that we have in front of us is the COVID and the related disruptions caused by that. Coming to export question, see, the segment that we are operating in, which is the compact tractor segment, is limited in industry size. And as I said, the 30,000 Europe market is very highly competitive with all the brands from across the world competing in that market. So there is a certain level of growth that we are expecting and which we are getting. Second is the large opportunity in Africa for the small and marginal farmer and power tillers. That is something that we have started exploring, and we are seeing that we are getting considerable traction there. This year already we have appointed about 8 to 10 distributors across Africa, especially in Western Africa and Southern Africa. We are also hoping that this year we will be able to cover Eastern Africa as well. So that is another area. And the third aspect of growth in these continents are the higher horsepower. Now the higher horsepower in Europe is a very different game. Like one of the earlier speakers asked me about, the technology and all. So the higher horsepower in Europe is a very different game with electronics and sensor controlled, and there are brand play which is much larger than in the smaller segment. Now coming to Africa, there is an opportunity for higher HP play, which we will definitely explore as the years go by. Yeah, and definitely, I mean, the visibility of about 10% is at this point, and we will keep exploring and see where else we can get growth, and especially with the alliance with Zetor, how we can scale up faster is something which we'll keep working on.
But I thought that the partnership was for both domestic markets as well as for Zetor's own requirements, which is really why I said your number seems rather conservative.
Yeah, VST Zetor, I'm not counting it at this point, literally, because that is something in the works, and probably it could be it will be a very different operation that we are looking at. Nothing is concluded, so I can't. Right now, product development is going on, and we should be able to launch the products next financial year, as I said before. And I'll keep you updated. What is the model, what is the structure, and what will be the methodology of the business. So that is work in progress.
Great. Thanks so much and very best wishes.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vimal from Union AMC. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, I just missed the revenue from tractor and tiller this quarter. The rest of my other questions have been answered.
Yeah, the tiller revenue is 94.47 crores and tractor is 69.41 crores. Tiller registered a growth of 30%, tractor registered a growth of 31%.
Okay. Tractor is 64 and tiller is 97. Correct.
No, tiller is 94.47 and tractor is 69.41.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Namaskar, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. Sir, firstly, as you guided for this 3,000 crore turnover by 2025, so you gave some understanding of how the export would likely be. Sir, how would the spare part would look like, and sir, that should be directly proportional to our installed base. So what is our current installed base, and are we catering to only the products sold by us as spares, or we are catering to other players also, sir, in the spare business?
Spares business, we are catering to our installed base. We are not catering to other players at the moment. However, we have a lubricant business wherein we are catering to the larger market. So that is the only play we have outside our installed base. And you're right, with the installed volume base increasing, the parts business will grow. And you can see in the first quarter, we have grown our parts business by about 44%. So I think that growth will continue. And second is, we want to build a distribution business into rural India. That is one work that is going on, apart from the work going on in the core tiller and tractor business.
So what should it be likely, sir? On a hypothetical, say now this year also 1,000 crore base, what kind of spares are you?
Yeah, roughly I will tell you. Roughly, it's just a rough estimation. On an 800 crore turnover, we did about 80 crores of parts and lubricants. So around 10% is what we are looking at in terms of, and probably there will be an upside as the network increases further. So I would say around 15% is what we can look at.
Okay, and this is a highly profitable one. This is not of this small. This is not in the base margin of 13-14%. This should be much higher than that.
Parts and lubricants, and that's definitely having better profits.
Better profits. Sir, in the annual report, this dealer deposit and lease liability part is mentioned. If you could explain, sir, and what kind of interest is equitable for this dealer deposit? If you could explain the metrics. I think the 42.
Yeah, I'll ask the CFO to give you the interest rate and
then I have a very small question.
I could not hear your question. Could you please repeat?
Sir, I was talking about this dealer deposit of 42 crore and this lease liability provision for this year. So if you could explain what is this dealer deposit matrix all about, what is the interest accrued to it, and explain how is it created, and about the lease liability also.
See, what we do for the dealer deposit, we pay an interest which is linked with SBI rate, right? So base rate. So it is 1% less than the SBI base rate. It is that way connected with SBI. So if the SBI rate goes down, the dealer deposit interest rate also goes down.
Thank you. Mr. Kapoor, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions. The next question is from the line of Arjun Khanna from Kotak. Please go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. So the first question is in terms of the Trend 4, so the change in norms for tractors, could you help us understand what's the impact on us while we export to Europe? I assume norms would be higher. What would be price increase that we need to take, or have we already taken it? What's the timeline, and would it impact even the tiller piece, or it just impacts the tractor piece?
Yeah, so there is no impact in the tiller space because the regulations are very different compared to the tractors. So there is nothing there. And in the compact tractor segment, we are already ready. Our tractors that we sell in Europe, for example, is already stage 5, which is up to 27 horsepower. We are already ready. Now coming to higher horsepower, going to stage 5, that is likely to happen in 2026, and we are very much ready for that. We will be ready for that. As of now, we are not, but we will be ready for that. Work is in progress.
Sure. And the price increase that we would need to take, would it be in the region of 5 to 10%, or could it be higher?
It's too early to say. Of course, there will be competitive comparisons also happening apart from merely the cost. There could be a shift in horsepower. For example, today the larger growing segment is the 40 to 50 HP segment. Now with this whole regulation shifting and changing, my belief is that the segment that will grow will be beyond 50 horsepower, because the price differential will be hardly anything, and the customer would prefer to buy a 50 to 60 horsepower rather than going for a 40 to 50. So there is going to be a lot of shift happening, and that is expected. As I said, there will be a competitive comparison also. But you are right. The kind of cost increase would be in the tune of about 15% to 20%.
Oh, sure. And the impact on compact tractors should not be that high, right? In terms of costing.
Compact tractors, as I said, is already ready. So what I see is the less than 40 HP segment will start growing in India, and then the 50 and above will start growing in India. So this is what I kind of see happening because of this price differential that will get created.
Sure. So effectively there could be positive for the compact space because of maybe the higher HP may be slightly more expensive.
That is what I have been telling, even my team.
Sure. But just coming to that second part, because what you rightly point out that people may move for even higher HPs as we are seeing the trend globally, and that may come to play. So we don't really have a product right now. So given your level of thinking with Vitor, essentially since we do have products with a higher HP, is that something you are aiming for?
Exactly. That is the reason why we went and we started working together with Vitor.
Sure. And just in terms of the engine capabilities, so right now most of the engine capabilities in-house, but for the higher HP, would these be bought out products, or does Vitor have some technology we can imbibe?
We have, as of now, we are buying, on our higher HP, it is a bought out engine. However, I'm very happy to say that we will have our own technology in all ranges of engines. And our work with Vitor involves sharing of technology, not only engines but transmission, hydraulics everywhere. But what is optimum for India is what we will do, because their technologies may not be, what is optimum for our requirement in India.
Sure. Sir, my last question, the second question was in terms of subsidy. If you could just talk about state subsidy, how is the allocation been this year? How do you see that pan out? While we have given a guidance of maybe 30% growth in tillers, obviously there are two elements to it since we are replacing some of the Chinese tillers. So just on a core, or I would say the historical business, how do you see the subsidy tiller outlook going forward? And we earlier had taken bad debt or had written off or taken provisions for late payments from a number of state governments. So have those monies come in? Is there possibilities of write backs for that? Thank you.
There are multiple parts to your question. I'll go one by one. See, this year the subsidy for power tillers has not come through except in Assam. that has come through in some area, some particular scheme. I wouldn't say all the schemes. So the subsidy dependency, as I've been telling, is reducing as every quarter goes by. And we don't see much influence of subsidy in the power tiller business as it used to be earlier. However, any subsidy declared by the state government is always welcome because it increases cash flow in the customer's hand, and that helps him to invest more into farm mechanization. So that definitely helps. Second part of your question in terms of can you just come back on that question again? Because I want to be specific.
Sure. The second part was in terms of the subsidy which we had written off last year and the year before as bad debt or maybe as provision. Do we expect payments on them, and potentially could those be written back going forward, given that they are from state government?
Yeah, so the receivables mostly are from the state government to the dealers and then through the dealers to us. So as of now, the payments have not come from the state government, especially the Andhra Pradesh government. However, the Andhra Pradesh government recently has acknowledged the receivable that is pending from their end to all the manufacturers. That has happened. So hopefully, I don't know when it will happen, but hopefully sooner than later they should start paying something. But, it's again totally unpredictable.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take the last question from the line of Sonal Gupta from L&T Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Sure. Just wanted to check on, you've given the revenue numbers for this year. Could you repeat the revenue numbers also for last year corresponding quarter for all segments?
So the power tiller segment last year was 72.41 crores.
Right.
The tractor segment was 52.86 crores. And the parts was 19.77 crores for last year.
Yeah, versus 28.2 this year, right?
Yeah, 28.39.
28.39. And just in the parts, you include everything as well, like the other rotavator and all these things will go in parts?
No. That comes separately. I have not given any figures on that right now because it's just about starting. So probably in the next quarter or the quarter after that, we start declaring for that as well.
Sure. And just one request, right? Like in your press release, if you can at least include the quarterly volume numbers for various categories, that would be helpful. Yeah.
Okay, sure. We'll do that.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Look forward to meet you the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Batlivala & Karani Securities India Private Limited, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.